Hi guys, my name is Brandon. You're watching the Legends of the Ring channel. I'm going to be doing a Raw review today from February 28th, 2011. And we just start the show with a Triple H promo in regards to the match that they're having at WrestleMania. Triple H was talking about the Undertaker not being the last outlaw in the WWE. Triple H said that there were still two and that there could only be one, and that's why they wanted the match. Now, he did go on to talk about them only having one challenge left. The challenge left for The Undertaker was to maintain the streak at WrestleMania. The challenge left for Triple H was to obviously break it. Said that when the streak dies, The Undertaker would die, but if Triple H couldn't break the streak, that he would die trying. Now, Triple H went into a pose down at the end of his promo and went to stand in the turnbuckle and was interrupted by Sheamus. Sheamus came straight down to the ring to confront Triple H. And Sheamus was obviously the one that put Triple H out months back. So he got in the ring and Triple H proceeded to beat him senseless and ended up with that interchange by hitting Sheamus with the pedigree through the announcer's table. Now, as they were helping Sheamus out, the anonymous GM decided to interrupt and say that Sheamus had kind of made his bed and now he had to lie in it, and said that Sheamus would still have to compete in his scheduled match against the returning Evan Bourne. Evan Bourne opened the match really quickly by drop-kicking Sheamus into the turnbuckle and then pretty much dominated for the next couple of minutes and finished the match up by hitting the Airborne off the top rope, which I have to say is one of the most impressive moves out there right now. It's pretty phenomenal to watch. Now, as Evan Bourne is leaving the ring after his match, Michael Cole was introduced, and Michael Cole was there to say whether or not he would accept Jerry Lawler's challenge for a match at WrestleMania. He gets Jerry to agree to conditions, one of those being that he would only take the match if he could pick the guest referee for the match. Lawler obviously accepted, and Cole announced that he was going to be coached by Jack Swagger, and then hid behind Jack Swagger and slapped Jerry Lawler in the face. Well, when Jerry went after him, Swagger came up from behind him and hit him and knocked him down and applied the ankle lock. And then we went to a commercial break, basically with Cole celebrating while Jack Swagger had the ankle lock on, and Cole was just berating Jerry Lawler while he was on the ground. The next setup was Randy Orton promo, which I'd say he's probably one of the best in the business right now with his promos. He said that the only mistake that he made when he cost CM Punk the title a couple of years back was not kicking him harder. Now with that, Punk interrupts and says that basically they told Orton not to show up, so he would show up just to spite them, and they started down to the ring. He said, we're not just here to end your career, we're here to put you in the ground, and started on the way down. Well, they were interrupted again by the anonymous general manager, which, by the way, I hate. But the anonymous general manager said that Punk and Orton could settle this with a match at WrestleMania, setting up another match, and also said that as a stipulation of the match, leading up to WrestleMania, Orton will wrestle each member of the New Nexus. If Orton wins, that member is banned from ringside, or actually banned from WrestleMania altogether. But if Orton loses, then that member of the New Nexus is permitted to be in CM Punk's corner during their match. They started the first match in that series now with Orton versus Michael McGillicuddy. Now, McGillicuddy is a young star, son of the late Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig. And he actually put on a show in this match. He did really well. Got some, I hate to quote Cole, but vintage Randy Orton in this match as well, with the typical set of moves that he usually hits. The match did end with an RKO and Randy Orton picking up the win. Randy Orton then went into the same type of interchange that he had with Husky Harris when he was in a match with Husky Harris a couple weeks back, where Punk interrupted when he was considering punting in the head, putting McGillicuddy in the head. Punk told him not to, and Orton proceeded to do it anyway, and then bailed out of the ring and went up through the stands. Now, McGillicuddy really did have a good showing in this match. And Orton did his typical really good stuff. McGillicuddy showed really well, but the rumor is on that they were using the punt to write McGillicuddy off of TV, at least for a little while, and possibly it could end up with him no longer working for the company, but the plan was to at least write him off the TV for the time being. Now the next thing we got was a video promo of the WWE signing of Sin Cara, also known as Mystico, out of Mexico. I've seen a couple of Mystico's matches internationally. They're really, really high quality stuff. As long as they don't water him down completely, this should turn out to be an amazing signing here. Now the next was the Miz and Alex Riley came out for a promo on John Cena. Typical Miz promo. It was good. Ended up with him doing the "I'm awesome" stuff, and he was interrupted by John Cena. Cena came out and goaded Miz into accepting a match with Cena facing Alex Riley. If Cena won, Alex Riley would no longer work for The Miz. If Riley won, then Cena would admit on Raw next week that Miz was the greatest superstar ever and that he was awesome. Now that was set up for later in the night, and the general manager interrupted again and decided that to avoid outside interference that they were going to make that a cage match. Cena had some really good stuff in there, making fun of Miz. Was a really good promo, good setup for the main event. Now, it was then bathroom break time because we had a impressive Divas Battle Royal, and if you couldn't hear the sarcasm in my voice, I really fast-forwarded through it on the DVR too when I did my review because I had no interest in it whatsoever. I can tell you that it ended with one of the Bella twins picking up the victory, and it was the #1 contender spot for the Divas title. They pulled the switcheroo like they always do, and when Eve Torres came in to confront the referee about it, they jumped her and beat her down and then left. Now, we then went into The Rock's response to John Cena after Cena's epic promo last week. It opened with The Rock doing the yo, 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 I'm a rapper gimmick, and then went into typical Rock promo with the making fun of Cena. And it was good, but it was obviously a pre-recorded promo. And it did well to set up a confrontation between the two individuals at WrestleMania at some point. Now, I have to say it is good to see The Rock on wrestling again. It's been really refreshing because people just don't do promos like that anymore. But we went after The Rock promo into a Shawn Michaels interview in regards to the Triple H Undertaker match. Basically, it's pretty drawn out with Michaels talking about his experiences in the ring with Triple H and The Undertaker, said that Triple H is probably one of his best friends and he wants him to win, but basically doesn't know how he's going to feel about it if somebody else ends the streak and he couldn't. Now we start into a Daniel Bryan match, and they introduce Daniel Bryan, and he starts down the ring, and then The Miz comes out from behind and attacks him and hits the skull-crushing finale on the floor. Basically, that looks to me like it was a time-saving issue because they just didn't have time for a match, but The Miz said that the reason he did it was just because he could. He then instructed them to go ahead and lower the cage for the main event. Now, we get the Riley-Cena cage match, and this was actually hands down the best match of the show. Good back and forth with Cena and Riley. Probably some of the best in-ring comedy in a while, with Riley bringing Cena closer to the side of the cage where The Miz was so he could take a picture of him and send it out via Twitter. Also, Riley ended up hitting Cena in the head with The Miz's BlackBerry. There was some good tug-of-war spots with people trying to get in and out of the ring. Miz trying to pull Riley out of the ring through the door, and Cena pulling him back and locking in the STF. Also had some stuff where Cena was trying to go over the top, and Miz was swinging a chair at him. Basically, Riley was on the top, and they had a back-and-forth battle on the top of the cage, and then ended up back on the top rope. Cena then hit I guess it's a famous bulldog off the top rope, and then went to go out the door. Well, Miz held the door shut on him for the second time in the match, and Cena got his arm through and forced the door open, but forced the door open so hard that when Miz moved out of the way, he fell out, and then Miz hit the skull-crushing finale to Cena on the floor, and the show ended with a pose, with The Miz posing on the ramp. Now with that, the show went off there. The show was a pretty good show. It did a lot to set up. There wasn't a lot of really good wrestling matches. It was more storyline set up. But I think all around it was a good show. Great work by Cole and Lawler setting up the dissension between them. Good setup for Cena and Orton's fight at WrestleMania. And continued